It's Wednesday, week 6. Can you believe it? 6 weeks done. Alright, so intro and networking. First thing, students got a workstation on their networks. This was the networks in the rack, the switches in the rack. And we have a diagram here we'll talk about in a little bit. We talked a little bit about switches, MAC addresses, the MAC sublayer, Ethernet and addressing, and then the labs. Alright, so actually the students did a lot of work, and then they took the quiz at the end. So this is the only other diagram. So what we did is we talked about a couple workstations put on. So the first thing I said, now we talked about the mask, and these were the addresses of 2 different workstations on 2 different switches. And then I said, well, if this and this, because of the mask, now we'll notice, I'll use another color here, these are on different networks, right? On different networks because of the 3 here and the 7 here. And these are different networks up here. So the connections here are router ports. And those ports are the default gateway. For example, we have a default gateway over here. So there's an address there, and then the rest of the addressing inside our switches are MAC addresses. And as soon as you put that PC on, the switch records the source MAC address inside there. Then this is connected to a router. The router is connected to the DMZ switch, which then is connected to the firewall. So we also talked about should be able to ping this address. Then from there, from the firewall, goes over to this multi-layer switch, which then connects to our ISP, Iowa Communications Network. Now, here on campus, if we were to look at this, there is here, we have the main campus network. And then going this way, if we were going to draw a big picture around it, I won't do the whole thing, we have the NIAC IT network. And so you draw a cloud around the whole thing, and that would be the NIAC. Now this diagram would be a logical diagram. Now if you're still confused, the other day we had a physical diagram drawn and a logical diagram drawn with kind of a divider on 2 separate parts of the board, so you can go back to the whiteboard review and take a look at those. Okay? And then we also talked, we did the lab work then, but we also talked about too how the switches can store and forward the frames, or they can cut through. Store and forward means they gather the whole frame up and then they check to see if there's any errors, and then they send it out. Cut through, as soon as it sees the destination MAC address, as soon as it gets that destination MAC address, it can start forwarding out a port because it knows where to send it. We'll talk a little bit more about that on Monday. So, moving ahead, we need to, if you haven't, you need to finish chapter 7 and all the work there. And then chapter 8 talks about the network layer. you need to make sure you go through that, because we'll do that entire chapter on Monday. And we will finish up, there's a lab we're going to finish up here. We'll finish that lab up for chapter 7. And then leading into Wednesdays, either Wednesday or sometime after, we'll have to decide how far we get. We have the chapters 4 through 7 assessment. All right. Okay, so that's it. I should mention too, the students took the quiz 3B today also. It's 20 questions. And we'll take a look at that also on Monday. That's it.